All right. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Persuasion by the Pint. I'm Jonathan Taylor, along with
Sean McCool, and I just have to say this as we're recording, happy World Air Guitar Championships, or Air Guitar World Championships, I guess is the proper way to say that.
That's right.
Make air, not war.
Make air, not war.
Literally, as we speak, they're determining who is going to be this year's world champion for air guitar.
That's right.
So,
it's exciting.
Kids, when you think you can't grow up and do whatever you want, you're wrong. You can.
This is in Alu, Finland. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, okay. Alu, Finland. Yeah. Got a live stream going right now, but we won't get into that. I was watching it earlier. I was just...
You know how to find the most obscure things and highlight those. I mean, last week Sean was sending me a link to the Savannah Banana baseball teams.
They made it to the ESPN, the Deuce.
Yeah. Come to realize that there are only two teams in that league. So they play each other all the time.
Right. It's basically like the Globetrotters. But we definitely need to do a show on them at some point.
Absolutely.
What they're doing
crazy.
Is crazy. I mean,
talk about suspending, belief for a period of time. I didn't know what I was watching or.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to make that a discussion.
I hope couple of their 9 rules that they have for baseball make it to the major leagues.
I do too. I like the inning. The speed of the game format where you're good. You have a time limit and that's it. So
that's
to
cool.
keep from some long drawn out games that go into extra innings. Man, that makes for some bad baseball for some of us people who aren't purists. I'm not a purist.
No, exactly. I want the entertainment.
Exactly.
Professional sports have forgotten what business they're in.
That's right. That's true.
They are so full of themselves, and they have forgotten that they are in the entertainment business.
Yep.
So,
well, when you see a guy walk out to the batting box on stilts, that's pretty entertaining,
Yeah.
And then trying to run to first base.
Takes a while to get his stride going, but once he gets going, man, that stride length.
That's right.
Stopping's a little tough too.
Yep.
But yeah. Well, we're going to be talking today about a couple different things. It's kind of a flight of persuasion here today. We're going to be talking about what I've termed grudge marketing.
Yes.
Based on an ad that I saw this week that I thought was just hilarious and very well done. We'll also be talking about trigger words. These are words that amp up curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
There's at least 17 of them that we found. And then we're going to be going over some, we'll be digging deep in the old archives and pulling out a classic, maybe even somewhat offensive ad.
Classic.
But could be somewhat offensive to
most of those classics are pretty. Most people would find them pretty offensive.
Yeah, especially to our female listeners, they might be offensive. Maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's on the flight of persuasion today.
Yes.
But before we get to that, speaking of rambling and long-winded and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to talk about $100 book too.
Yes.
Yeah.
$100 book that does not deliver. Right?
Yeah. I like that.
Man. Marketing lesson, good marketing takeaway lesson on delivering. If you're selling premium, buddy, you got to deliver.
You better deliver. That's absolutely right. Yep. All right. What do you have over there? You got a giant bottle of booze over there.
Talking about premium, man. Look at this bad boy.
Man, look at that.
This is the astronaut status. After I drink this thing with 12%, I will be high as an astronaut. I will be in orbit. It is from Wiseacre Brewing Company, 2021, one of their select bourbon barrel aged imperial stouts. So I haven't had one of these in a while now. We've been on the kick of the light beers during the summer and the IPAs.
Yeah, pretty soon we'll be having. I saw it in the store this week when I went to grab my beer. Saw 2 pumpkin beers, so it's It's happening. I was like, I can't do it too soon.
I know. It's a little too soon for the
I mean, the Oktoberfest was out, and I'm like, dude, we still got a week till September.
Not yet.
So I can't do it. Second half of after September 21st, when summer is officially over, I'll pull out the Oktoberfest, but not before then.
I will, though, however, pull out an Oktoberfest mug.
Man, thing's bigger than your head.
It is. It's the size of my head. So, and it'll hold every bit of this, I'm sure.
Hopefully you didn't do arms today. You won't be able to.
Nope, not today. I'm going to get my workout on the curls.
Nice.
All right. So what do you got?
I have got the 100%.
100%. Oh, that's clever.
100%.
By what bakery? What is that?
It's by Bachfish.
Oh, Bach. Yeah, okay.
Bachfish, not Bakefish. Bachfish, I guess is how you would say it. They are in Pearland, Texas, which I think is outside of Houston. I don't know. There's so many small towns in Texas, but I think that's where they're at. So this is a honey lager. So it's the opposite end of the spectrum as far as alcohol content from what you've got.
Yeah.
It's only 5.3 and IBUs are only 9. So this is, I'm guessing this is almost like a, I don't know, cider or something like that without the fizz. But so yeah, honey lager. I figured didn't have many lagers on this summer. Go ahead and pull this one out.
I love a good lager.
Yeah. So there we are. Honey lager. It was won the gold in U.S. Beer Open in 2020 in the honey beer category.
Oh, wow.
Like that's a huge category, I guess.
The honey beer category. I had no idea there was such a thing.
Yeah, apparently. maybe they're. I
guess create your own niche and then just be the top of it, right?
There you go.
That's
yeah. They don't say how many people were in that category. They just say they won it.
3 beers.
So, all right. Well,
I filled mine to the top, and this is where it came to.
Is that the whole thing?
That's almost the whole bottle. Almost the whole bottle.
Oh wow!
And that's where it comes to.
Well, cheers!
Cheers!
There. Before your arm gives out.
Yes. Oh man!
Feel the burn.
Oh man, that's a little much.
All right, that wasn't a good response from you.
Yeah.
Mine's not great either.
I'm going to give it, to be fair, I'm going to give it a second run, maybe even a third here.
I appreciate your grace.
Ooh, man, it's strong. It's strong. It's that 12%.
Who would have thought?
Yes, very sweet, strong. So, I think I warm up to these imperial stouts a little in the colder months, but they just don't work right now when it's 95 degrees.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to have to give this one a 2-2.
Ooh, wow. That's brutal for that category of beer.
Yeah.
Well, for my 100% honey lager, I'm going to have to give pretty low as well. The flavor's good, but the texture is just like all wrong. It feels flat, like watery. Like it's got a decent flavor, but it just comes off very watery.
Yeah.
Just
really okay. Yeah.
Just
which is flat. Refreshing right now in Texas. I mean, we're
yeah, but it doesn't even have that. Even the little bit of like very little head when I poured it, so it just doesn't have that fizz or whatever you get from. I don't know. It's just flat. It's the only way I can describe it.
Right.
So I'm going to give it I will also give mine a 2-2, just because it's
2 low scores. Wow.
Yeah. So much for the.
Usually we have one that's offsets, but man, it's pretty bad it's a bad day when you've had.
And what really sucks about this one is, usually I try to buy singles and I just couldn't find any last night because I think I bought all the different beers in the store. So I just honey. I've had some good honey beers before and bought the 6-pack, and now I'm stuck with it.
Yeah.
So,
oh man.
Take it to the next party.
Those are great. Yeah, exactly. Save those. Those are great giveaways.
Exactly. I'll throw
From
I got 2 or 3 leftover beers and partial
sure.
packs.
Yeah.
To get taken to the neighbors and stuff like that.
They're great holiday gifts.
Absolutely. Yeah, look for yours in the mail soon. All right.
Well, we've got some cool topics today. Like you said, you're going to be talking on sharing on some what do you call it?
Grudge marketing.
Grudge. Yeah, I wanted to say grunge, but it's grudge marketing, not grunge marketing. Grudge marketing. We're going to do some mind hijacks on copy, old school copy, and then we'll get into some words, some trigger words that you sent me this week that are really good. So
yeah, well, let's start with kind of the fun one. We'll talk about some grudge marketing.
Okay.
So this is just a great angle. Really, all this is, it's an angle. I don't know if you've seen. I know. I sent it to you. I don't know, but if our listeners have seen or heard about Jeremy's Razors.
Yes.
Which you can go to jeremysrazors.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can also go to ihateharrys.com.
Brilliant.
Which is actually the call to action at the end of this video.
Yeah.
So Jeremy is the guy, the CEO of the Daily Wire, conservative,
yep.
Talk radio.
Yeah.
And Harry's got all offended when one of their hosts, we won't say which one, said men are men and women are women.
Yeah.
And Harry's pulled their advertising.
Yeah.
So this whole campaign is about kind of anti-Harry's, as you can see with the flamethrower, shooting on the Harry's stuff here in the image. But it's kind of a Dollar Shave Club feel commercial video.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But with a lot more like grudge and vitriol and like, hey, if they want to pull their stuff, fine, we'll make a better razor.
Sure.
You don't have to. And all the retargeting ads that I've been getting are like, don't give your money to people who hate you. Like it's just like they are all in on the polarity. Just know who their target market is, and they're just going hard after it. It's like, you piss me off, so I'm going to start my own company, my own brand, and I'm going to take you down. Yeah. So that's why I call it grudge marketing, because literally the whole thing is just like this grudge he has against Harry's for dropping, their advertising.
Well, it's a great example of another. I mean, what we're going to talk about today, in addition to just being, in your face type thing, but it's also creating they've learned how to create a problem outside of competing one-on-one against a razor. So razors are, I mean, how much different are you going to get on a razor? So
exactly.
Why not create
a commodity? Yeah.
Yeah. It's a commodity. So let's create another problem to solve, which is corporate wokeism, in all these brands out there.
Find an enemy, right? We've said before, find a common enemy. I mean, I love it. Look at like one of the links on the top is why I hate Harry's.
Right.
Stop giving your money to woke corporations who hate you. Give it to me instead. Like, I just love the bluntness of that. Like, just give it to me instead.
Oh yeah. Totally irreverent, which is a great lesson that, you learn is treat your product with reverence and everything else with irreverence. I think that was one of our guests said that from one of our previous guests. I actually wrote that down on a little whiteboard. I loved it. But I mean, look at that, the story.
Yeah, I love this. I love this line. So he's basically saying, they paid us, we advertised the razors, we did this for years. They left us for saying boys are boys and girls are girls. It was too much, so they betrayed us. At the behest of a 2-follower Twitter account, Harry's publicly condemned our show. I love that line. That's like, it's probably, the point there is like, it's probably one person that said something, that has no weight, no pull.
A 2-follower Twitter account. That's great.
That's just a great line, because you can, you instantly like see that person like complaining about, the show or what was said on the show. My question is, why was that person listening to the Daily Wire anyway? What did they think they were going to hear on the Daily Wire?
Oh, sure. Of course.
It's like, They said that the views you hear on our programs, whether you agree with them or not, are inexcusable and misaligned values.
Right.
I mean, he just goes all in and just uses, the very thing that, was a big problem. He turned it into a whole new, not just a new marketing opportunity, but an entirely new brand.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, that is just like
the video is incredible.
Yeah.
Just go.
Yeah, go to jeremy'srazors.com or ihateharrys.com. They both go to the same place. And it's a good video, just over the top. We've talked about hyperbole and how that works and, all that stuff. And just this guy's got a grudge against Harry's now, and he's just going to make a razor and buy it. So great marketing.
It's great. It's a great, the story of you against the corporate world, the corporate woke world, and being completely irreverent in your advertising towards them, telling the story, the backstory. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I think they've done a great job. It's an incredible video. So
yeah, so you get a chance to go over there to jeremy'srazors.com or ihateharrys.com and watch the video.
Yep.
And then watch the retargeting ads that you get once you get the site too, because you're going to get some good Facebook and Instagram retargeting ads that are in that same line of grudge marketing. So next time you got an enemy or somebody pisses you off, just start a $1 million brand, and that's how you solve the problem.
That's it.
Create have your own media network too.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. It's got some pretty good financial backing there.
Yeah. So he's doing pretty well. All right. Let's, where you want to go next? You want to talk about the book, or you want to save that for the end?
No, we can talk about it now. So,
all right. We mentioned this book before.
Yeah. It's and I haven't seen the ad. Sean mentioned it. A book is Greatness. Which I have no idea. I didn't buy the book based on the ad. I bought the book because I really wanted to see what their marketing was from start to finish. The ads are pretty good because they do a good job of telling a story. But my takeaway or my learning experience from buying this is
for those that don't know about this book. So it's from a guy named David Cook. He's a speaker.
Yep.
And he has this book, and it showed up on a Facebook ad a while back, and we talked about it. But he's got this book, and it's $100 book. And the last section, is it sealed?
Yes, it is sealed.
Yeah. So it's this author signed collector's gift book, and he sells it for $100.
Yeah.
And it's a very there's even a $750. Oh, that's a 10-pack. I was gonna say that's
that's for the corporate buyer.
It's a basic book. He's got some street cred as far as brands he's helped and things like that. So, it was intriguing. I was like, wow, $100 book. That's interesting. And then the sealed chapter at the end.
Yeah.
So Jonathan went ahead and took the dive and ordered it. Right. And you would expect that this would come in a gold-plated box of some kind.
You think the packaging would be very impressive,
or at least like a reused Apple box or something,
Right.
What show us what this $100 book was delivered in?
Okay, I gotta say I was very disappointed because actually I've got a little prop here. First of all, when the postman is delivering something that you paid $100 for, that's a sheer sign that.
I'm sorry, I can't let this go. Why do you have a toy mail truck in your office?
It's a lumpy mail prop that I'm sending out. I've got these lumpy things sitting all over the office.
Awesome.
I buy them when I'm out, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to turn that into a lumpy story.
Yeah. Cool. So, all right. So it was delivered by USPS. First of all,
USPS always a red flag when you see USPS tracking, because it's the worst delivery. I mean, the lengthy delivery, and you don't know if it'll show up, and it comes in this bubble mail. I mean, typical bubble mail, just wrapped and taped. Two layers. Right here's the inner. The book is wrapped in the paper, and then it's wrapped in the bubble, just to make sure it doesn't get damaged. It's jammed in my mailbox. This is not a book that you have jammed in your mailbox, right? This is a book that should arrive like first class FedEx in a box.
And it came with a little stand, right?
Yeah, it did come with a
Display
stand. The
It is
stand
wrapped
is
in
kind of
plastic.
just wrapped in plastic.
Straight from Alibaba.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a lesson here that if you're going to sell, a premium product or add value, I mean, you've got to follow through, because my impression is just gone, So I'm not so much when I go into the when I go into the book, regardless of how good it is, I've been already somewhat primed to not expect a whole lot in return for what I'm getting. Right. So,
and like if he sent you, let's say he knew what he was doing with marketing and beyond this, just the price of the book, and he sent you a back end offer for like an event or a course, you're going to think very hard about like, well,
absolutely,
if that's how he delivered a book, like with no care really, other than bubble wrap, like, I don't know. Do I want to buy a higher end product? Do I want to go to an event where they're going to have like red and white checkered tablecloths at the event? Like,
right.
Serve peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Yeah.
It just feels cheap. After buying a premium product, you get cheap packaging and delivery.
Yeah.
It's just totally incongruent with what you bought.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, even when I buy, like I'll send books to, customers out there, and even my own books that I've written in the past are on Amazon. If I want to send a book as a gift or send it the right way to make an impression, I just go over to Amazon, order the thing, and have it gift wrapped and shipped with a little personal message on there, which you can do on Amazon. Everybody's got that feature. If you order a book or send it to somebody, you get to the very end, you just select gift, and they will personally wrap it in. I think I've shown it in the past. They put it in a little gift wrap.
It's nice gift wrap. I've sent it to a couple people, and I sent one to myself one time to see what it was like, and it's like quality paper. It's well wrapped, So yeah,
I mean, something that simple. It doesn't take a lot of extra time, but when you send these out in a kind of haphazard and just kind of, it's poorly packaged and wrapped. It wasn't even congruent. I mean, it was just kind of folded over and everything. So it was like, wow, that's crazy that you buy $100 book and then, what you get is not what you expected. So, lesson learned there. So, and it may be a good read. I'm not judging the book. I'm not judging the content. In fact, I probably would say that, the information in the book is probably good. I don't know how great it would be, but the fact that he's worked around some of the top athletes in the profession, is pretty, his experience alone. So it'd be interesting to get some takeaways from that. I'm not judging the content, but I am judging the way he presented it. So
because the website was well done.
Yeah,
copy was good. Like you're like, oh, this is different, and then you get a not so different delivery experience.
Yep, exactly.
So it just ruins all the work you did up to that point. It's just ruined. And even at $100, he's not making much on that book, so that's not going to be his business model.
Right.
And even if I'm hiring this guy to come speak, because he is a speaker, I'm still going to have second doubts when I get that package in that condition.
Right.
I'm like, like, is he going to deliver? Like,
sure. Yeah.
So,
I mean, Dave. I would have, it's funny that, if you're paying that much for a book, you're probably going to pay a little extra, even if you have to pay a little extra cover the kind of postage that it needs to be sent in. You're probably going to pay a little extra for that, if you're willing to go that far.
I mean, he could charge $125. Like nobody's going to, the difference between 100 and 125, it's the same buyer, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then put that $25 towards a well-made box that has the book on the one side and the stand on the other, with the foam packaging.
Yeah. And that's actually what I envision. You open the box, and in the box in the front, you look at it and you see the book kind of placed inside of one side, and then you open it up and there's the stand on the other.
Or the stand could be below it, like a 2-layer thing like you see in some of the Apple boxes,
Right.
where your phone's on top when you open the Apple box, and then the wires and stuff's below it.
Yep.
Something like that would have been a cool way to do it. And I mean, yeah, that's a little bit of hassle. And he's probably not selling a ton of these. That's probably part of it.
Sure.
But he could have bought 100 of those boxes
easily.
I doubt they would have been more than $25 a piece.
Yeah. Your markup's already pretty good to include some room in there for a little bit of packaging there. So.
Yeah. And it just would have left so much better impression.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt.
For anybody that wants to hire him. So, all right, we beat that poor Dr. Cook to death. So
I know.
Give us an update in the future about the book itself.
Yeah, content. Like I said, content might be good, but packaging, I give him a D- on that one.
Absolutely.
I did want to share, and we'll get into trigger words, but I did want to share an ad that I came across with Dan Kennedy, and it's a really good example of what we call mind hijacking, where you're not selling the initial or the direct benefits of your product or your service, but you're taking your customer back to in an emotional state, right? And you're creating a problem for them to direct their attention to. And a lot of times it's completely away from the product, right, itself. And a great example of that, Dan, I was listening to an audio recently that Dan Kennedy, I think it's 43 marketing, something 43 secrets of marketing is the title. Let me put this on my share. Let's see here. I forgot I can't just go to it. I have to share it. Let's see.
Share that beautiful marketing footage.
All right, here we go. Let's see. I've got 5 billion tabs open. All right, let's see. There we go.
Just don't put the wrong one up.
So here it is, the headline, and this goes back to I think the 1920s or 30s, but this is so relevant today.
Yeah.
So the end product is Dr. Eliot's 5-foot shelf of books, which is, in other words, they were selling encyclopedias. But before they weren't even selling in this ad. They weren't even selling the encyclopedias in the ad. You were sending off for a free book that the title of it was 15 minutes a day. And it's a free book that contains Dr. Eliot's plan of reading, right? He's going to give you his plan of reading. And then you have to go use that plan and go buy his 5-foot shelf of books in the process.
Which I think the 5-foot shelf of book, wasn't that like all the classic books that you should be reading or something like that?
Yes, all the classic books, and I think included some it was all the classics, and then some encyclopedias and dictionaries, all the stuff that before the internet came along, it was a thing to sell.
Right.
But here's the title. This is what struck me: 1 year married and all talked out. So the story is, for anyone that can't read it, because it's a little fuzzy even on my screen, but I've kind of zoomed in on it a little. It says, here are 2 young married people. For a year, they've been spending their evenings together. And now, as the second year of their marriage or of their married life begins, they are all talked out. Nothing left to talk about, right? He sits in moody silence under the lamp. The click of her needles. See, this is where we get into the little bit of the sexism, I guess. The
sexism
stereotype.
Yeah.
The click of her needles is the only sound that breaks the veil of depression in the room.
Dang.
I mean, that's pretty good copy right there.
The veil of depression in the
veil
room.
of depression. Wow.
Is
there anything that would brighten their evenings? How can they get more things to talk about? How can they turn their silent, lonely hours into real human companionship? The answer to this question, and to the question of thousands of married couples like them, is contained in a free book that you may have for the asking. It's called 15 Minutes a Day. And it is a vivid, stimulating way that tells how every man and woman can gain the knowledge of life and literature, the culture, the broad viewpoint that will turn lonely evenings into fine comradeship. Comradeship. I haven't used that one in a while.
Yeah. Wow.
Man, just painting that picture.
Yeah.
So when you're in a marriage, you don't have anything to talk about, sits in moody silence. So to me, that one was the thing. And this ad was underlined. He sits in moody silence under the lamp. The click of her needles is the only sound that breaks the veil of depression in the room.
Man, it's dark.
Yeah.
That is so dark.
So here it is. I mean, what are we doing here? We're not talking about the books. We're not talking about the books and the benefit and, how, reading these books or even first getting the free copy of 15 minutes a day that will get you on track and show you how to, liven your marriage just because you'll have more things to. No, they paint the picture of something that I'm sure a lot of married couples, they go through what do they call it? The 2-year lull or the 2-year something or other after, because I think every couple goes through it. But so they point out a problem that most people don't think about, but they identify it.
Yeah. As soon as you read it, you're like, oh, yeah. I've been there.
That's us. We have been sitting. Yeah, exactly.
And it'd be so easy to adapt this for today, instead of knitting needles, obviously, you'd have she's scrolling on her phone.
Yeah. He's flipping through the remote, to find out, or flipping through the channels, or he's scrolling through Netflix or whatever. And they're just kind of sitting there, not talking. And, it's kind of like, you can picture that today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and so the whole point is it's called the Created Problem School of Advertising, where you need to create problems that aren't identifiable right on the forefront. And I see this and I look through when here's a copy of a publication that I get. I'm going to stop sharing this for a second. Let's see. Publication that I get in the manufacturing industry is one called Coatings World, right? I go through this magazine.
Read.
This would liven any marriage. You're sitting there and you'll have a lot to talk about.
Who needs melatonin?
But man, I go through these ads and I look at the way things are positioned. Here's one ad that says full page ads in these magazines. This magazine's filled with, or this trade journal's filled with full page advertising is wasted space. Full pages that waste about a quarter of the page that says proven excellence. That's it, and then something I have no idea, describing some process I have no idea about, and then some quick bullet points optimized for blah, blah, blah. And it's just awful. I mean, it's just
you gotta optimize. I mean, but you got to optimize,
exactly.
Optimization is critical to next level success.
That's right. There's like a dictionary of trade journal wording that you have to use in every advertising, every advertisement that you run. But it's crazy, man. I mean, you think about some of the ads like from the back in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s when even the 60s, those those decades of really good advertising.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't see them in any of these magazines today. The poor schlep that's in bed at night and he can't sleep, because of what's going on at the manufacturing plant and all of the problems that they're having, and telling the story of that guy who's stressing out or he's on heart medication. All this stuff. It's just, telling those types of stories. Everything is the same now, where you're just showing off features and benefits in so many of these. So copywriters in industries like this could have a heyday if these people
I did that
would
for
accept.
I did that for 5 or 7 years with the granite industry. I rewrote so many ads into the story form. Yeah. One of our best performers was a router that routed stone.
Yeah.
And I remember I came up with a headline that's like, I can't remember what it was now, but I turned it into a story about, because my client would repair the routers because they all just got damaged. They refurbished them and sent them back. And it was something like, finally a manufacturer who listens to a repairman. 21 improvements so far.
Right.
And I told the story about this repair guy and how he was always telling the manufacturer all the problems he was seeing, and the manufacturer actually said, "Oh, thanks for letting us know," and they fixed it.
Yeah.
Which then leads to the idea that
that's great,
that the routers improved and all that stuff. So
sure.
But yeah, it was all story based. And I did dozens of those over, probably 7 to 10 year period. Well, I guess it was about 7 years. Yeah. So easy to do. And you're right. Like, if you're a copywriter out there and you want some easy copy, like go find some manufacturing and that type of client in the B2B space.
Right.
Because the bar is so low.
It is. It really
to like
is.
Financial or health copy or internet marketing copy or anything else. It's just.
And what you have to do, Sean, you have to ask a lot of questions, because they're going to give you what they think that their selling benefit is. Yeah. And most of the time they're completely missing, the forest for the trees. They think it's this that they've always been selling.
Features, the features mainly.
Yeah.
Maybe some benefits of those features, but they don't get into the human part, which is what a lot of these stories do.
Yep, absolutely. It reminds me of, I was at a manufacturer recently, and we were just talking about the difference in, which is a couple of different chemicals that they use in their process. Both of them they consider commodity items, right? These were commodity products that go into their this milling process. But I asked questions like, what do you see as the difference between this one and, product A and product B that you're running through your mill process? And, one of the plant managers said, well, product A is a less dense product. That's the one that we use. Product B is a higher dense product. So I said, well, what does that mean? What does that mean for you? Well, it means there's less water, which he said is, and he starts to thinking, which is probably, it's in some ways it's good, in some ways it's bad. And then he starts thinking, well, it means less water, which means it's less, it costs us a less energy because they have to run this through a dryer to kind of, evaporate the water out of the process, which is natural gas, and natural gas is going up. So he's like, yeah, it's actually saving us, product B would save us in the amount of, natural gas fuel energy, so those are outside. So you ask questions and like, oh, wait, we just identified, what, cost savings there on something that you never even thought about, right?
Yeah.
You're just thinking about, features. There's two commodity products. They're closely the same, but until you start digging, you start really asking a lot of questions and get feedback. And most of the time they don't even know, what some of the benefits are that you can see.
Yeah. And a lot of times it's hidden in the process, for sure. Like
just like what's the ad guy that did the Schlitz, or was it the Schlitz beer?
Yep.
Started really looking at their process and said, it was run through a, the process was so much filtered clean. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, oh, everybody does that. Yeah, but nobody's talking about it.
No one's talking about it. So
and that doesn't mean everything that nobody's talking about is worth advertising.
That's true.
But in that case, a consumer would want clean, fresh, pure anything that they're putting in their body. Even though it's alcohol, so it's actually not not pure. But the idea stands. So
sure. Yeah.
No, that's good stuff. I'm going to share my screen. We'll move on to the triggers words. Let's see.
Not triggers on not your 9mm or your AR. This is a trigger word.
Yeah. All right. So these words, so I got these in an email from our friends over at AWAI, where I learned about copywriting, awai.com. And they were just sending out an email, and it said, and they sent this list, and I forwarded it on to Jonathan because I know he likes these kind of lists.
I love these.
It says, when it comes to your prospects' need to seek out information, you can use certain trigger words that amp up their curiosity. And here are 17 emotional trigger words that you can use. And some of you out there, you're going to roll your ears when you hear this. And you're going to be like, that's hypey. That would never work. And I'm telling you, all of these continue to work.
Yeah.
Because it's just, it just short circuits the brain, and people just got to know,
Yep.
Number one on the list, I don't think these are in any particular order, but if they were, number one would be the correct order. Like,
yeah,
the secret continues to work. And I had a copy chief tell me one time, he's like, it's a secret to somebody.
That's right. That's right.
Especially if you're going to cold traffic, it's a secret to somebody. So don't be afraid to use the word secret, because it continues to work. Band is really powerful. It kind of falls in that grudge thing we were talking about, right? Like, you could use that if I know when they did End of America back in 2010, when that went just supernova crazy, and it got banned from one of the network TV stations. They went all in on that. They're like, banned on 3 networks.
Yeah, right.
Now available to you, in an Alex Jones voice.
Yeah.
Illegal. Man, people love to know what's
I know.
illegal or taboo.
Curiosity. Taboo. Yeah, those words are really, really curious.
Right, because you don't usually see people advertising illegal, right? So when you see illegal in a headline that's an advertisement for something, whether it looks like an advertisement or not, it's going to get your attention as more content than sales piece.
Yeah.
And it depends on how you use it. If you just say, this is so good it should be illegal, that's probably not quite the angle you need. You need something a little stronger than that.
Right.
But yeah, taboo. So I won't go through all of them. What was your favorite 2 or 3 on this list?
Well, I've used actually went and used one of these in my in one of my emails this week, and it was exclusive is one of the ones that I used.
Okay.
And it was directed not to a prospect, but to existing clients. And it was tailored to an the exclusive service that is provided to a lot of our select customers with some of the tank technology features that are used to analyze all of your data, track your usage, blah blah blah. And so I've already swiped. I think I actually swiped 2 of these in some emails that I used this week. So
exclusive is good. I've used for several different promotions. I love the invitation only, members only.
Yeah.
Another one is like password protected. I've thrown that into like whenever it's a membership site, I'll always throw in like password protected.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
which
good.
it is, right? Because I mean, you get a password when you sign up, because everybody does.
Yep.
But it just makes it a little more like secretive, and it makes you like, ooh, password protected. Wow.
Right.
But actually, every site you go on, that you're a member of is probably password protected. Exactly. But it's like we said about Schlitz, nobody's saying it, so it just sounds different.
Right.
I did a promo one time, like instead of behind the scenes, it was behind closed doors.
I like that one better.
It was about and I've seen that's been used quite a bit, but not as much as it could be. Like if you were selling recordings to an event, there was a paid only event, then you could do a whole thing about, secret information shared with, 137 entrepreneurs at a undisclosed location behind closed doors, like, and all that would be true, because if you didn't have a ticket, you wouldn't have known where it was. You wouldn't, so using stuff like that really ramps up the curiosity. It's like, ooh, why was it?
Yeah.
Why was there only 100 people there? Why was it closed doors? Like, all these things that your brain just jumps to conclusions. You can use that to get people's curiosity, ramp it up.
Sure. Yeah.
Insider's another. You see that all the time in the financial, insider.
Insider's guide or yeah, exactly.
Or even anything, fitness, anything. Insider's guide is just because everybody believes that they're being left out of something.
Yeah. Right.
And that's why all of these work, right? Secret, banned, illegal, insider, censored. Everybody thinks at the heart, everybody's a conspiracy theorist in something.
Sure.
Right. Everybody knows there's something out there that somebody is keeping from them or believes that there is.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what it is. It may be a diet secret. It may be how to keep your kid from, staying up all night, like whatever. Somebody out there has the answer and they're keeping it from you.
And no matter how many times you've seen that before, it doesn't matter. You still think there's something out there.
Yeah. Well, there's got to be.
There's got to be, because
if there's not, what does that mean? Like, that's even worse if there's not.
So this can be, this is this is repeat stuff that works every time, because our brains will tell us there's one thing that in the process of learning everything else that we thought that was left out, they left out to us, that we've diligently jumped in and read and put all the work in. There's always that one thing that we could miss. Right.
So, and these phrases aren't just for headlines. Like you can use these in the paragraph copy, email, subject lines. So here's one. I'll make one up real quick for Jonathan. The secret golf swing technique that's banned by the PGA.
Yeah.
Like Jonathan's like, I gotta know what that is.
Yeah, I gotta know. Yeah, exactly. Curiosity.
And, it's like, ooh, it's banned. Must be really effective if it's banned.
Or the insider's guide or the insider's guide to the swing that only the professionals know, or something like that. So it's like there's always some schlep on the outside that's like feels like you said, he's getting left out. So
and that's a powerful motivator right there. Feeling left out. I mean, we got a word acronym, right? FOMO. Like that's people
right.
Always feel like they're missing out. And if you could say, I've got the insider information, I'm going to give it to you.
Yep.
People are, man, they're just all in.
Yep.
But banned is really powerful. Like if and it's got to be true. You need some proof that happened. And sometimes that's where you can, maybe you could manufacture that a little bit by going really aggressive like if you really wanted to. You could write an ad that's pretty aggressive and get it banned on Facebook. Just the one ad. Don't get your whole account banned. And then you could say, then you could use that in the future.
Yeah, to even show you, maybe
even show a screenshot. Yeah, where it's like, nope, can't use this.
Right.
Anything like that. So you can manufacture some of these things to be able to use the words, more effectively.
Absolutely.
But these are great words. Just drip them in, sprinkle them throughout your copy.
Yeah.
You don't have to use all of them every time. Just pick 2 or 3 that you could use in a letter or a headline or a subhead.
Yeah.
Don't overdo it. You don't want to try to fit all the words in one headline or something. That would get weird.
Yeah.
The secret, illegal, covert, undercover, insider information they don't want you to know about.
They don't want you to know. Yeah, exactly.
Don't want to go that far. But so these are really powerful though. And I forget to use them sometimes. You do have to kind of find the angle for them, but it's usually there.
Yeah.
If you just look a little bit and kind of think because you're thinking kind of from a different angle.
Yeah.
When you write these.
Right.
But very, very powerful. Increases curiosity like crazy.
FOMO. That's the key. FOMO. People have FOMO.
Yep.
So we'll post maybe we'll post a list of these. So we just post a list on our show page over at persuasionbythepint.com. I'm trying to figure out. I always forget what episode we're on. This would be 274.
6. Yeah, somewhere in there.
274. I think it's 275. Yeah, okay. This will be 270. Yeah, this will be 275.
There you go.
Post. So had to think about that for a second. So episode 275, we'll have a list. If you want to go to it there, you can just swipe it, and it's really good to just have as a reference guide whenever you're writing. When Sean sent me the he texted it to me, I was like, man, I got to see the link to that, because I got to just like put that in my notes when I'm writing, just to remember and look back to. So
yeah. All right. Anything else?
No, that wraps it up. So good topics today, and not so good beer, unfortunately. Maybe we'll have better next week. So.
Yeah, hope so. But hey, 1 week till college football.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. This is 0 weeks, so we have.
We have some games. Yeah, I mean, real
one game
football.
over in I think Ireland this weekend.
That's weird.
Nebraska. That is weird.
So does game day start this weekend?
I think game day will be on tomorrow morning. Yeah, just because there's a handful of games, not many tomorrow, but there's a few. So
lots of prediction talk tomorrow on game day.
Absolutely,
for sure.
Yeah, it gets fun. It gets fun, and you see all the talk about the the crazy headlines, the trigger headlines. Man, you really start to see it in the season.
Yeah, if you want some good like clickbait style headline formulas, just go to the college football world right now and just start looking at all the different.
I mean,
man, there's so many sites that feed that industry. It's amazing.
Yep, and fans eat it up, man. Fans just
whether it's the $10 billion contract Saban got, you couldn't let Kirby Smart have the highest contract.
Well, yeah, that's built into his contract that he has to be the highest paid coach in the SEC. So
that's a good clause to have.
That's a nice clause. So you're actually rooting for your competitors out there to get pay raises.
Yeah, he's like, well, yeah, of course I'm going to train these guys to go get big money, because then I give more money.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that works.
That's like Tom Cruise and his brilliant contract negotiations with Paramount or whoever on his movie deals. It's just crazy the kind of money that he gets, where all these other actors are, they're making good money, but I mean, he's getting royalties big time.
Know your worth.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it's all about. So, all right, I'll let you take us out.
Well, to all of our listeners, you can find us over at persuasionbythepint.com. Again, you can find this episode on episode 275, and you can find us on all of your platforms: Stitcher Radio, iHeart, Spotify. You can find us if you want to reach out to us through email. It's persuasionbythepint@gmail.com, and our Facebook group is Persuasion by the Pint. Just click or just type that out on Facebook. You can find our group. And Sean, looking forward to next week as we kick off the real season right before Friday, before the week one starts. That'll be That'll be a lot of fun.
That will be.
But we'll probably do a couple episodes next week, but hope everyone has a great weekend, and take care.
See ya.
All right.